Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome live at the rehearsal hall, Joe Jackson.
Across the window hides the lines. Nothing hides the color of the lights that shine. Electricity so fine. Look and dry your eyes. Tired of all the darkness in our life. When all our angry was to say can come alive. Get into a car and drive to the other side. TV and the radio behind. Don't you wonder what we'll find stepping out tonight? You and dressed in pink and blue just like a child. Taxi, turn to me and smile. We'll be there in just a while if you follow me, babe. Stepping out into the light, into the light. You, babe, stepping out.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lance Chilton, and welcome all of you to the Bravo Rehearsal Hall. Our guest tonight, as you know, is Joe Jackson. And we're pretty happy about that. Joe's career has spanned more than 2 decades and counting, and in more than a dozen albums. He has touched every base. His music is as far-reaching as it has been prolific. And tonight we're going to hear some old and some new and catch up on the story so far. We'll talk to Joe, and you can even talk to him, too, if you'd like. But right now, more music. Joe Jackson.
Thanks. This is a song from the new album, Night and Day 2. A song about New York City, a city where no matter how strange you think you are, there's always someone stranger than you. This is called Stranger Than You. Met my friend the Chinese Elvis and hoisted a few. He talks like Mickey Mouse and sees with X-ray eyes. Lives in a cardboard house. I almost gave him the prize till you came along. Thanks for opening my eyes. Things you do, right or wrong, it should come as no surprise when you live in a town where there's always somebody stranger than you, stranger than you. At 83rd in Amsterdam, there's an Indian Jew who pierced all his private parts with a permanent screw. He sleeps on a bed of nails which came from outer space. And in my taller tales, I gave him pride of place till you came along. Thanks for opening my eyes. Things you do, right or wrong, it should come as no surprise when you live in a town where there's always somebody stranger than you, stranger than you. Complaining, even though I'm not sure what you are. I've got the strangest feeling good about this love bizarre. I could have stayed in bed, hiding from this freaky show. I'm happy that instead I knew just where to go when you came along. Thanks for opening my eyes. Things you do, right or wrong, it should come as no surprise when you live in a town where there's always somebody stranger than you, stranger than you, stranger than you, stranger than you. Are you a fish? Are you a fowl? Are you an angel? Are you from hell? Are you a boy? stranger than you.
Our special guest live at the Rehearsal Hall tonight is Joe Jackson. And Joe, again, welcome. You just did a song called Stranger Than You from your new album, Night and Day 2. In referring to the 1982 album, Night and Day,
right.
are you inviting the audience to have an expectation of what they'll hear or find on the new album?
Well, expectations are dangerous things, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I try to have absolutely none whatsoever. I think it's the only way to live. The samurai knew this. Because there's a great samurai saying, which is expect nothing but be ready for anything. But I mean, obviously, when you call something a sequel, you're implying that it has something in common with the other one.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it has quite a lot in common with it. Both records are very much inspired by New York City, and they both had the same kind of sound, which is based on keyboards and percussion and strings. And it's just, you know, quite a lot of similarities, but it's not like a return to, it's not like trying to go back to 1982.
Right.
It's like picking up where that one left off and taking it forward.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's impossible to be 100% brilliantly new and original with every single thing you do. And I think the way that most artists work is sort of continually working on certain things which are obsessions, you know, like trying to take elements of something you've done before and think, well, what can I do with that now? How can I make it better? How can I give it a new twist?
Yeah. Someone in the audience has a question for you. Sir, hi, what's your name?
Richard.
What's your question for Joe, Richard?
One time you did a lot of soundtrack work. How come that stopped?
Well, I don't think we should really say that it stopped at a certain point until after I'm dead, you know, because hopefully I'm going to do some more. But I've had quite a few near misses and some bad luck in that area in the last few years because certain projects have come up and I haven't been able to do them because I've been working on my own thing, you know, doing records or touring or whatever. And not being a full-time film composer, I'm sort of out of the loop a little bit. But now and again, projects will come up and hopefully there'll be some more in the future. It's not up to me. That's the other thing. You know, some producer has to pick up a phone and say, "Get me Joe Jackson." I mean, there's not a lot I can really do about it.
You've done obviously about a bazillion interviews over the years, and you often mention your desire to make a connection with the audience. So what is that connection? How do you know when you've made it, and what does it feel like?
Well, that's quite a few different questions.
It's three,
I don't
actually.
know. Yeah.
So I'll boil it down to the one. How do you know when you've made the connection?
Well, I don't know if you ever really know, but I mean, if you imagine that you have, I mean, it's probably good enough to be going on with.
Ask them.
You know, applause helps. Laughter certainly helps. Right? See, there you go. There it is. Connection.
Someone down there would like to connect with a question. Hi, what's your name?
Cameron.
Hi, Cameron. What's your question for
My
Joe?
question is, how do you, what inspires you to change from musical genre from one to another, from pop to jazz to
I wouldn't know how to do that.
jive?
I've never changed genres, so you know, I don't know what it would be to do that.
You did well. You delivered us some great music, and
I did one record in a very specific genre called Jumpin' Jive, which was a tribute record. It was, you know, I didn't write it, so hold the applause on that one.
Sorry.
Save it for something I wrote, you know. But it was a very deliberate sort of vacation from my own music, doing this, you know, this jump swing music from the 40s as a homage to some of those people. And that's the only album I've ever done which you could say was in a specific genre. Everything else I've ever done has been sort of a mongrel mixture of bits and pieces from different styles, because that's what seems to come naturally to me.
Did you know, sir, that that Joe is a licentiate of the Royal Academy of Music?
I'm a fellow now, too.
Oh, he's a fellow. That's right. I stand corrected, indeed.
I got a...
Does a fellow have to do more?
Less, I think, actually. That's why it's better. That's why you get more letters after your name. The more letters you have, less you have to actually do. But they sent me a letter saying that they had elected me a fellow, and I wrote them back a letter saying, why? One word, letter, why? And they wrote back, and again, another very pompous letter saying, "Oh, we, the trustees of the Royal Academy of Music, think that we should honor anyone who's distinguished themselves in whatsoever area of the musical arts," and blah, 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 blah. I thought, okay, fine, okay. I'll take it. They didn't like me much when I was there.
Yeah. And now a bunch of guys in gowns have determined that you can play.
Yeah, well, I think they had some help making their minds up for them, you know. It took a while.
All right. Well, let's hear what those letters mean. Musically. More music. Joe Jackson.
Okay.
Won't you be my number two? Me a number one or through. There won't be too much to do. Just smile when I feel blue. And there's not much left of me. What you get is what you see. Is it worth the energy? I leave it up to you. And if you got something to say to me, don't try to lay your funny ways on me. I know that it's really not fair of me, but my heart's seen too much action. And every time I look at you, you'll be who I want you to. And I'll do what I can do to make a dream or two come true. If you be my number two. Something to say to me. Don't try to lay your funny ways on me. I know that it's really not fair of me, but my heart's seen too much action. And every time I look at you, you'll be who I want you to. And I'll do what I can do to make a dream or two come true. If you be my number two.
This is from an album called Big World.
Of all the stupid things I could have thought, this was the worst. I started to believe that I was born at 17. And bottom of the drawer they'd always been. And now I plow through piles of bills, receipts, and credit cards and tickets and the daily news. And sometimes I just want to go back to my hometown, though I know it'll never be the same. Back to my hometown, 'cause it's been so long, and I'm wondering if it's still there. We think we're pretty tough, us city slickers, we get around. And when the going's rough, we kill the pain and relocate. We're never married, never faithful, not to any town, but we never leave the past behind, we just accumulate. So sometimes when the music stops, I seem to hear a distant sound of waves and seagulls and football crowds and church bells, and I want to go back to my hometown, though I know it'll never be the same. Back to my hometown, 'cause it's been so long, and I'm wondering if it's still there. No, I know it'll never be the same. Back to my hometown, 'cause it's been so long, and I'm wondering if it's still there. Take your mind back, I don't know when. Sometime when it always seemed to be just us and them. Girls that wore pink, boys that wore blue, boys that always grew up better men than me and you. What's a man now? What's a man mean? Is he rough or is he rugged? Is he cultural and clean? Now it's all changed. It's got to change more, 'cause we think it's getting better, but nobody is really sure. And so it goes around again, but now and then we wonder who the real men are. All the gays are macho, can't you see the leather shine? You don't want to sound dumb, don't want to offend, so don't call me a faggot, not unless you are a friend. Then if you're tall and handsome and strong, you could wear the uniform and I could play along. And so it goes around again, and now and then we wonder who the real men are. Time to get scared, time to change plan. Don't know how to treat a lady, don't know how to be a man. Time to admit what you call defeat, 'cause there's women running past you now while you just drag your feet. And man makes a gun, and man goes to war. Man can kill and man can drink and man can take a whore. And it's kill all the blacks or kill all the reds. But if there's war between the sexes, then there'll be no people left. And so it goes around again, and now and then we wonder who the real men are.
Do another song from Night and Day 2. Not too many of the songs on this record lend themselves to this sort of acoustic arrangement, but this one I think is okay. Most of the songs on this record are about New York City, but really about people, New York characters. And the character in this song is a woman in her 50s who is a successful executive, and the song is what's going through her head as she's on her way to work on a Monday morning. And in that process of peering inside her brain, we find out things about her that people don't know, that no one suspects. That she has, for instance, a secret romantic side. And she indulges this mostly by going to the opera, because she has no love in her life. In fact, she goes alone to the opera because she has no friends. So it's a very sad song. And when I wrote it, I thought, oh my God, I know who has to sing this. Marianne Faithfull would just be perfect for it. And in fact, she did end up singing it. So if you get the record, you can hear Marianne singing it, just singing an incredible performance of this song. She's not here tonight, so you're going to have to make do with me singing it. And you just have to close your eyes and imagine that I'm a 54-year-old woman. This is called Love Got Lost.
Here we go, Monday morning at last. Hold on to the glittering prize. There's a rent to pay. Give me a coffee to go, make it fast. There'll be a merger before it gets cold. They've closed down the whole 7th floor. The young guns are ready for war, but I'm holding on. Long ago and far away, I was safe and sound, but love got lost along the way. Saturday night went to see La Boheme. Used the spare ticket just for my coat. I guess I should swallow my pride, but I'd be damned if I'd hawk it outside in the pouring rain. Monday morning and no one to blame. Keep hitting icebergs, but I'm still afloat. I'd like a new body and face, but I'd settle for a friend with a space on their calendar. To know and hard to say. Wonder what I found, but love got lost along the way. Mr. Worldly and wise, if he touches me again, I'll scream. I can't stand his sensitive eyes, like I'm some dying diva to him. Touch me, don't touch me. Touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. love got lost along the way.
Our guest live in the rehearsal hall tonight is Joe Jackson with some top-notch, first-rate musicians. Joe, introduce them, please, if you would.
Well, this is Maby on bass and vocals. Who I've known since we were both little kids. And this is on violin and vocals, Allison Cornell. Take a bow. And on cello, Catherine Bent.
Everyone in this room knows that you've written some absolutely wonderful music over many years, but what some people may not know is that you've written a terrific book, too. It's called Joe Jackson's A Cure for Gravity, A Musical Pilgrimage. Yeah. And it is, as we say in the trade, a cracking good read.
A page-turner.
It is a page-turner. And there's one passage I was reading in bed, and I woke up my wife, so because it's so funny. Here, see if you can just lift it off the page for us.
Waking up people's wives, that's why I wrote this book. What's this? Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's a great
Well, there's
story.
a lot of funny stories in there about characters that I met in my early musical career, like aspiring musicians. This was one, because I grew up in a naval town, Portsmouth, so we used to do a lot of gigs. Actually, Graham was on a lot of them, playing naval bases. And this was a little bit about aspiring musicians we met. It says, okay, another dubious treat was chatting with aspiring naval musicians. My favorite was Bernie, who hung around the stage all evening when we played at HMS Sultan. In between songs, he asked us all kinds of not especially intelligent questions about our amps. When he finally moved off, a fellow rating, who'd been trying not to laugh the whole time, explained Bernie had recently bought an electric guitar, but been disappointed at the low volume level it produced. Almost inaudible, in fact. He didn't know that he was supposed to plug it into an amplifier. Instead, by a process of logical deduction, he figured out that since it was an electric guitar, it must be plugged into the mains. Where was the cable? They must have left it out. So Bernie spliced a 3-pin plug onto a guitar lead, plugged in, and hit a power chord that blasted him clean across the room. He was lucky to be alive.
A Cure for Gravity.
Yeah, okay. Hard to know where to start.
So that's a sample of how funny this book is, and you know, wake your wife up too in the middle of the night reading that. What's cool about the book, though, and what was unexpected, at least on my part, is the fact that you don't do the pop star jumping on and off of planes, groupies,
no,
sort
that's
of.
really boring.
Yeah, but you start as a kid, and the book actually ends at the release of Look Sharp in 1979, which
Not
is,
even at the release. At
Well,
my
actually, prior to,
24th
yeah.
birthday, which actually happened in the week that we went into the studio to make my first album. Well, I mean, it does talk about what happened since then. You know, it sort of goes backwards and forwards, reflecting on the past from the present. And it does talk a bit about after that. But I didn't go into much detail because I think all the interesting stuff was before that. It was the stuff that no one knows about because it's so much weirder, you know, and funnier and more quirky and much more interesting, I think. Because after that, it's public record. And, you know, success stories are all the same. They're all really boring. It's the years of struggle and failure that are interesting for some reason.
It is interesting. And there's a question back here. Hi, what's your name?
Valerie.
What's your question for Joe, Valerie?
Why do you find that you may have to rearrange certain songs for live performance?
Just to keep it interesting, to keep it fun. Because, you know, I want to have fun doing this. I don't want to play the same song the same way for 20 years. I mean, I don't know, that might be fun for some people, but I just think it makes it more interesting. And also, the bands change as well. You know, we have different musicians, so it opens up different possibilities.
Apart from Graham. Him you keep.
I can't seem to get rid of him.
Before we wind up with more music, Joe, I would like to thank you very much for spending time with us tonight.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. We know you had to shoehorn us into a busy tour schedule. And we'd also like to thank you for coming out tonight and being our guest in the rehearsal hall. So we'll wrap it up with more music. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Jackson.
Thanks. This is an old one.
What the hell is wrong with you tonight? I can't seem to say how I do the right thing. Wanted to be sure you're feeling right. Wanted to be sure we want the same thing. She said, I don't believe it. You can't possibly mean it. Don't we all want the same thing, don't we? Well, we said anything about love. No, not love, she said. Don't you know that it's different for girls? Don't give me love. No, not love, she said. Don't you know that it's different for girls? You're all the same. Mama always told me, save yourself. Take a little time and find the right girl. Then again, don't end up on the shelf. Logical advice gets you in a whirl. I know a lot of things that you don't. You wanna hear some? She said, just give me something, anything. Well, give me all you got, but not love. No, not love, she said. Don't you know that it's different for girls? Don't give me love. No, not love, she said. Don't you know that it's different for girls? You're all the same. You're all the same. You're all the same. We said anything about love. No, not love, she said. Don't you know that it's different for girls? Don't get it. No, not love, she said. Don't you know that it's different for girls? Don't get love. No, not love, she said. Don't you know that it's different for girls? Don't get it. No, not love, she said.